the structure of the ear. The ear is mainly seen in anatomy year 1 semester 2, and it is seen under the special senses. So the ear is a special sense for hearing. We want to see today in the base class what is the structure, how is the structure of the ear, how is it described. So the structure of the ear is divided into 3 distinct parts or 3 divisions, where we have the outer ear, the middle ear, and then the inner ear. The outer ear. The outer ear is made up of what we call the auricle, or what we may call the pinna. This outer lining, kino ekiwujjo kyolaba, ekyo kyolaba wabweru ekyamatu, which you make what you call the pinna or the auricle. This auricle, its function is to receive and capture sound waves from the atmosphere. Ekyo ekiwujjo kye collecting sound waves. Enkoko bw'ekookolima, sound waves is very spread within the atmosphere. So your pinna collects the sound waves from the atmosphere and it concentrates them into what we call the external acoustic meatus, or which you may call the auditory canal. So the next part of the outer ear is what we call the external acoustic meatus. The external acoustic meatus is a narrow tube that connects from the pinna to what we call the tympanic membrane, or what you may call the eardrum. So its function is transporting sound waves from the pinna or from the auricle to the tympanic membrane. Then the tympanic membrane. The tympanic membrane acts as a boundary between the outer and the middle ear, and its function is to vibrate when it receives sound waves. Then from there we go to the middle ear. The middle ear is mainly made up of what we call the ear oscles. The ear oscles are small bones that are found within the middle of the ear. And we have 3 main small bones, where we have number 1 as the milius, or which you may call the hammer, which is in the structure of a hammer. Then we have what we call the incus, and then we also have what we call the steps. So the function of these smaller bones is to transmit sound vibrations from the tympanic membrane to what we call the oval window. The oval window is an opening to the inner ear. The inner ear has 2 openings, where we have the oval window and the round window. So the third small bone, which we call the steps or the steer up, attaches to the oval window. So it transmits sound vibrations. Remember, here when you reach the middle ear, we don't talk about the sound waves. We talk about the sound vibrations, because the sound vibrations, the sound waves were turned into vibrations by the tympanic membrane. So the ear oscles are responsible for transmitting these vibrations to the inner ear. The inner ear, which is also known as the labyrinth, is responsible for, or it is divided into 2 parts, where we have the bony labyrinth and the membranous labyrinth. The bony labyrinth is just made up of what we call the temporal bone. Remember that the ear sits in the temporal bone. So the bony labyrinth is just made up of the temporal bone. And the bony labyrinth consists of what called the vestibule, the cochlea, and the semicircular canal. So the vestibule is the one that contains what we call the oval and the round window walls. So the round window and the oval window are attached to the vestibule. Then the cochlea is that snail-shaped structure you see, which have what called the hair cells inside it, which are responsible for generating what called the sound impulses or the nerve impulses that will be sent to the brain. Then the semicircular canals are those semicircular structures, and they are three, and they are responsible for balance. They are the ones that are responsible for balance in the body. Then the ear also has what we call nerves, what we call the vestibulocochlear nerve. The vestibulocochlear nerve is the sensory nerve from the ear that transmits impulses from the ear to what you call the brain, to the brain for interpretation to take place. Then also the ear has a part which you call the pharyngotympanic tube, or what you call the auditory tube. This tube is responsible for balancing air pressure within the ear. It connects from the ear to what we call the nasopharynx. That's why you call it pharyngotympanic tube. It connects to the pharynx. That's why when you go to a high altitude, where there is no equal pressure of air, you tend to yawn for that air to escape, for balancing the air for balancing the air pressure. So in brief, that is the structure, and those are the parts of the ear. Thank you so much.